27th of April 2024. Hi guys, welcome to Rants, the comedy and tragedy of living in Singapore. But the driver of the black cab who caused the horrific fatal accident at the junction of Tampines Avenue 1 and Avenue 4 was finally charged in court. He's a 42-year-old guy by the name of Mohammed. Let's just call him Mohammed, who appeared to have injured his right arm during the accident he allegedly caused. He was arrested soon after he was discharged from hospital, and his driving license was suspended with immediate effect. Mohammed faces a total of 4 charges, 1 count each of dangerous driving causing death, dangerous driving causing hurt, dangerous driving, and failing to stop after an accident. I've noticed that right until Wednesday this week, people were still throwing punches and pointing fingers at the driver of the white Mercedes. I estimated no less than 500 comments putting the blame solely on the driver of the white Mercedes. But the moment Mohammed was charged and brought to court, the needle swung abruptly to his side, and the crazy and impulsive netizens went baying for blood from their moral high horses. No matter how intelligent or level-headed you are, you can't argue against the mob on social media. Then someone by the name of Will Sam said something very interesting. I quote, "This kind of act is more directly dangerous to society than drugs. Drugs might not always kill, but dangerous driving almost always causes serious injuries or death." Unquote. May I add that people who are destroyed by drugs pay for them and consume them voluntarily. Now, the reason that I don't support the death penalty for drugs is not because I don't think it's serious. It's simply because we have not hanged any billionaires. 擒贼擒王. If there are too many flies in the room, would you try to locate that piece of rotten meat, or will you keep catching the flies? A Cambodian national, Su Wen-chiang, the first person to be sentenced in Singapore's largest money laundering case, like drama queen Han Feizi, he will be deported after his release from prison. The 32-year-old billionaire was sentenced to 13 months jail in April the 2nd after pleading guilty to 2 money laundering charges, becoming the first of 10 foreigners to be convicted over a probe that saw more than 3 billion in cash and assets seized. He had been in remand since August 2023 and should be back in business in Cambodia in less than a month's time. Next, Singapore's property prices have gone through the roof into the stratosphere. One unit from the peak at Toa Payoh, design, build and sell scheme HDB flat, has just been sold for $2 million. People's Voice politician Mr. Lim Tian made a video to voice his objection to this madness. This is public housing. How can it cost as much as private housing? I'm sure many people agree that these prices are crazy, but what if there are people willing to pay? Workers' Party MP Mr. Gerald Giam once said in Parliament that, quote, "Housing is a basic human need. Singapore's public housing policies were a great success in the first few decades after our independence, but the government got distracted along the way when it started pairing the objective of affordable housing with that of asset enhancement. Perpetual property price increases are neither sustainable nor in public interest. It is time that we stop kicking the can down the road and focus on HDB's original mission of providing quality and affordable housing for all Singaporeans, especially the lower and middle income earners." Unquote. Mr. Giam further tables proposal to proactively manage and moderate HDB resale markets to ensure affordability for both primary and secondary markets. A PAP minister once said that getting the keys to a new HDB flat is like winning the lottery. But the value of that property just keeps spiraling upwards, and recently this spiral has gone completely out of sync with our incomes. Folks from my parents' generation had the luxury of buying low and selling high. My generation had the privilege of buying high and selling higher. It has become addictive. Any government who tries to break this addiction is not going to be very popular with the people. Because for the majority, this is the only idiot-proof investment they know. Everyone wants public housing to be cheap, but nobody wants to miss out on the opportunity to make money, and that includes people from the low-income group. It's a Singapore dream. Sure, people complain, but any party that doesn't pander to this greed and selfishness is not going to win many votes. Still on Mr. Gerald Giam, he had this very cute advice for safer footpaths. Quote, cyclists should be encouraged to sound their bell when they are still some distance away from pedestrians to alert them of their approach and not wait until they are directly behind. Pedestrians should be educated to avoid suddenly changing direction without looking over their shoulders. Unquote. Now let me share a few of my encounters with Mr. Giam. I was walking in the middle of a footpath when I heard a bicycle coming from behind. I moved to my left to allow him to overtake me on my right. Basic driving theory. Now, instead of doing what I expected him to do, he yelled at me to give way. He didn't want to deviate from his path on the left. He wanted me to move to my right to give way to him. Does it have anything to do with sounding the bell? Then, there was this time when there was a bicycle behind me and another one coming towards me. I naturally kept to my left to let the bicycle in front pass on my right. But the rider behind me was not happy. He didn't want to stop. He kept sounding his bell and wanted me to give way to him, either by colliding with the bicycle in front or jumping onto the grass verge. I've even seen a cyclist sounding her bell when she was stopped by an ama on a wheelchair alighting from a bus. It has nothing to do with a bell and everything to do with inconsiderate behavior, narcissism, self-centeredness. People do have common sense. They just don't have empathy. And I'm not surprised that Muhammad on 2 wheels would behave just as he would on 4 wheels. And those inconsiderate folks on 2 wheels are going to drive like Muhammad if they happen to have a black Saab or a white Mercedes for that matter. Finally, a poke at Mr. Tan Kin Lian, who blocked and then unblocked me on Facebook. I'll just comment on one of his many facepalm posts. Look at this funny post from him. Sorry, Mr. Tan, I don't have as many fans and followers as you do, and my fans are just loving it. Where should I begin? Talk about freedom of speech. Why not you, Mr. Tan, try to post something critical of Mr. C on Weibo and see what happens to your account. Do that with Biden on any platform based in America and you'll be okay. Personally, I won't go on TikTok or Douyin unless there is something juicy going on. This is 29-year-old Chinese woman Xu Jiayi. She goes by the moniker Mao Yibei, and she's an influencer with almost 19 million followers before her account was shut down. No, she didn't make fun of Winnie the Pooh. She made a video showing some primary school worksheets which she claimed to have found in a cafe in Paris. She playfully shouted out to the owner of the worksheets, allegedly a boy by the name of Qin Lang, saying that she had completed his homework for him and would be bringing the worksheets back to China for him. Guess what happened next? Her video went viral as expected. Helpful netizens went all out to locate a boy named Qin Lang. And can you believe it? Even the Chinese authorities looked into recent immigration records for a Qin Lang returning home from Paris. Under police investigation, Mao Yibei confessed that she had made this all up. She apologized on social media and her account was terminated. The authorities issued the following statement. Bloggers striving for online traffic should not ignore the law or society's bottom lines. 底线, I guess. The internet is still governed by law. 网络不是法外之地. Those challenging the law or regulations will be punished by law. Which law has she broken? There are millions of videos on Douyin and TikTok which are made just for laughs. That includes Xinjiang people posing as Ukrainian supporters of Putin. Have they broken the law? It's just mind-boggling that the authorities should take such a frivolous story so seriously that they would mobilize the immigration department to locate a fictional boy in a funny skit on Douyin. Chinese netizens are shaking their heads in despair. Are they going to arrest people for posting staged matchmaking and classroom drama? Are they going to ban Chinese kung fu movies because they show people jumping off rooftops and landing so softly on their feet? Are they afraid that people may take these videos seriously, like those immigration officers poring over all that data looking for Qin Lang? TikTok is very secretive about its algorithms, and as netizens have repeatedly demonstrated, it grants higher or lower visibility to videos according to their political stand. CBN has reported that a search for TikTok videos on the ongoing war in Gaza has a 54-to-1 ratio of pro-Palestinian versus pro-Israel videos. It's not that there are fewer pro-Israel videos, they are just rendered less visible. Search the Dalai Lama and you'll find mostly scandals and conspiracies. That is where the problem lies. No issues for apolitical youngsters watching daily skits a la Mao Yibei. But then, folks like Mr. Tan have obviously been swayed by their finely filtered political content. There is nothing wrong with taking sides, as long as the network takes its job professionally. Certainly not TikTok. Why not watch the BBC, which is rather woke in its approach nowadays, and has been identified as having a pro-Palestinian slant. The CNN is also pretty woke, always taking the side of the underdogs. In recent months, the news network has been investigating IDF atrocities in the ongoing war. Does Mr. Tan think that the BBC or CNN will ever get banned in the US? And if you look at Fox News, you'll find that it's evidently Republican and pro-Israel. Even then, it can't get banned even with the Democrats in power. That is freedom of speech. In 2002, a book entitled 1421 by retired British naval officer Gavin Menzies suggested that 4 disciples of Chinese explorer Zheng He discovered America before Columbus did. Totally devoid of credible evidence, this assertion had a massive following. Thankfully, China had not gone fully online back then. Weibo was started in 2009 and WeChat in 2011, but there was still a great spin-off with the Chinese propaganda machine and its Western counterpart, both acknowledging putative Chinese moral, technological, and seafaring superiority over European conquistadors. I have a lot to say about Zheng He and his controversial voyages. Hopefully, I have the time and energy to write something about them soon. Stay tuned. But following the immense popularity of the book 1421, Gavin Menzies published a sequel entitled 1434. This time, he stroked Chinese ego even harder, postulating that the Chinese arrived in Italy that year and sparked off the scientific revolution in Europe. The BBC, CNN, Fox News, and Gavin Menzies' books are all part of this heterogeneous, amorphous mass called Western media. Simplistic labels that people like Mr. Tan give it just won't stick. Mr. Tan may have unblocked me on his page, but I won't be keen to debate anyone on his Facebook page, because if he blocks me again, then all my efforts are going to be in vain. It's not that my views will make any difference in his controlled environment of like-minded followers either. Under the law of social media, the one with more fans and followers influences more people regardless of whether he makes any sense. If you like my videos and wish to correct this imbalance, do like, share, and subscribe to this and other channels where I operate. Till next time, enjoy your weekend.